What is one of the biggest risks of stock picking that I haven't previously spoken about? That's going to be the topic of today's video. Now, as many of you know, I've spoken about some of the risks of picking individual stocks versus buying a more diversified portfolio through ETFs and other mechanisms. However, there is one thing I haven't spoken about, at least I can't remember speaking about it publicly, and that's what I'm going to call negative compounding. Now, what do I mean by that? Let's say you've got $100,000 and you really believe in a stock and you just have a one stock portfolio. Let's say that stock goes down by 90%. Now, to get back to 100,000 from that kind of fall, you would actually need a 900% increase to get back to where you were. In other words, if 100,000 goes down to 10,000, to get up to 100,000 again, you would need a tenfold increase. So it's like 900% or 1,000%, however you want to work it out. And what's interesting about this is the general stock market regularly falls by 10, 20%. It does also fall by as much as 50% every few years, usually every 15, 20, 25 years, where it's hard to say exactly because in the last 20 years we've seen three periods where that's happened: 2000, 2008 and 2020. But very seldom does the stock market fall by 60 or 70% or more. It's happened with the NASDAQ and it happened in the Great Depression, but the general stock market does always come back. But the point is, individual stocks are quite different because they don't always come back. And also, if the fall is absolutely huge, coming back can be quite difficult. Not impossible. There are stocks that have fallen by 90% and came back. But I mean, take the banking stocks. They've never came close to recovering from their falls in 2008, and the same thing might happen to the airlines this time, but we don't know that. So I'm not saying don't buy individual stocks, but this is one reason why it's important to have a diversified portfolio, because a huge fall in individual stocks, it's quite different to actually buying the whole stock market. If you buy the whole stock market and it falls by 50%, you can just hold on. I mean, let's face it, last year the stock market fell by 50%. It came back in 3 months. Now, you might say that's quite extreme in that case. Even in 2008, it took 2 or 3 years to recover. The NASDAQ fell by like 75%. It took a couple of years to even start to recover and about 14 years to fully recover, but it did recover. And of course, you can buy low as well. But with individual stocks, if you buy high and you don't know you're buying high and it falls by a lot, it's then very difficult to actually recover that particular loss. How can I help you? In 2 ways. First of all, are you an expat, a high net wealth individual, or just somebody who lives in a part of the world where it's difficult to get access to quality investment solutions? In which case, go onto my website on adamfayed.com and find out more. If you don't fit into any of those categories, then in which case there's a range of free material on my website, on this YouTube channel, and indeed on my Quora, where I get over 200 or have received over 231 million views in the last few years. And finally, if you want to actually read my thoughts in more detail, go onto Amazon and find my book on there.